All right, guys, so today we're gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna train alone, actually with Roderick. I'm gonna put him through a workout. But I am now 4 weeks out. I don't know when you're gonna be watching this, probably at 3 weeks out, because we take some time to edit so we can do a good job for you guys to watch. But kind of showing you guys a little bit of how it goes towards the last 4 weeks. So of course the body changed, it's changing every day. We still estimate 3 more pounds to lose until the stage, and then of course there is peak week, which we're gonna lose a lot of water too, but keep some water too because we wanna be round and not flat. So it's a lot of science behind it, which I leave it all for Dom, especially now that the diet is so strict and the training is still high, so there is very little calories, even though I eat more than most people I know, but there is very little calories compared to the demand that I need to keep up with training and cardio. So what happens with that is the brain also takes a toll, right? Especially because I work Monday through Friday, so I demand more from my body. You know, getting up early, having a place to be every morning, and having people to be communicating all day long. So that requires even more calories in my body to function. So makes things a little bit harder. I don't like to say the word suffer, but for a lack of a better word, it becomes a little bit of a struggle. But I always like to say that it is as hard as you make it. If you keep it a good mindset, and if you keep it in your mind, that is something that you sign up for. You have the privilege to enjoy bodybuilding. Every single food that we have on the plan, it's certain. And for me, coming from Brazil, of course, in a place where people actually experience hunger and people don't have the privilege to have meals always certain for them. So it would be wrong of me to say that I'm hungry, that this is suffering, that this is hard. This is actually a luxury for me, right? But it doesn't take away the fact that I'm doing something that, again, for a lack of a better word, a little toxic in the body, right? So there's a lot of demand in the body, a lot of physical activity, limited intake of food. So hormones too become a little bit imbalanced, right? And just being in a very lean stage makes things a little different. And only people who really experience this can talk about it, because it's almost, I like to say, it's almost like if life goes in a slow-mo. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm a very energetic person. I'm always go, go, go. So they even encounter me and they say, are you okay? Are you okay? And just because I kind of, you know, my energy levels is very, very limited. I also don't like to make that an excuse to be an asshole. I don't think that it gives the green pass to anyone, but your patience and your just ability to be really yourself, you know, in my case, bubbly and energetic, becomes more difficult. So bear with me, bear with me. Today we're gonna do push day. It's going to be shoulders, it's gonna be chest and triceps. And then I'm gonna finish with 15 minutes of cardio. I already did 30 minutes in the morning, and then I'm doing 15 minutes after on the Stairmaster. In the morning I did some cycling, which for me it's a little bit easier, especially because I was coming from a leg day. I don't like to burn out the next day and go straight to Stairmaster after a leg day because I'm still sore. So we're being very mindful of what we do on a fat loss diet so we don't lose any tissue. So what I'm gonna do is just some Stairmaster post-workout just to get that burn, especially on the glutes. I like to lean forward a little bit to get the glutes, but always monitoring depending on how I did it the day before. Today is also high carb day, so I have a little bit more energy, so that's gonna be good. Another thing that I like to do too is to touch up glutes. I have 1 glute day per week, but I like to touch up glutes too. After my cardio in the morning or after my entire workout. So today I might hit just 1 exercise for glutes just to touch it a little bit, and then that's it. And then tomorrow we're back on low carb day again. Tomorrow is back day, Tuesday is off day, and then Wednesday is leg day. So we are always kind of alternating between push, pull, and leg day. I have leg day twice a week. I think I have a back day twice too, and then I have push 1 day, sometimes 2 days, depending on how I feel. So now that we are on prep, it's technically okay for me to add another day, so it would be 6 days training and then 1 day off. but I don't tend to do that when I am on a gain phase, because we really want to make sure that we are hitting the gym hard and we're doing heavy sets. And for the body to be able to do that, you need to rest more often. All right, so let's go. So the cool thing about torture is that everything here is in kilograms, so don't get twisted, okay? If you see me like lifting 20 kilos and being like, what? She's just doing 20 pounds? You gotta do the math in your head. And check this out, we have the gym all for ourselves. This is awesome. They have great equipment here. Dom always tells me that they have great equipment for back, which I yet have to try back day here. I'm excited about that. I'm actually doing something different. So because I work Monday through Friday, and what I do is I used to train after work. Now I'm gonna be training during my lunch break, because we closed the clinic from 12 to 1. So I'm gonna be training from 11. I took 1 hour off from 11 to 1, because that gives me a little bit more energy towards the end, because working out after a long day of work, guys, let me tell you, it's crazy. All right, so I'm gonna take a look right now what is on the menu for today. And I like to, Dom has all the workouts written down for me, but we twist a few things here and there. And we actually did that just about a few days ago. Saturday was legs, and then today Sunday. Okay, so we're gonna warm up with flies. So we're just gonna do 2 sets of flies for chest warming up. Then we're gonna go to side laterals. From side laterals, we're gonna go to slight incline dumbbell press, okay, for the chest. Then we're gonna go to real delts. I always have difficulty in saying that word. Can you say that word? Rear. There we go. Shoulder press, and then we're gonna go to front raises, and then we're gonna go to triceps, and then one more for triceps, and then cardio and a little bit of glutes, maybe a little bit of abs, and that's it. Sounds like a lot, I know, but I'm gonna go boom, boom, boom. All right, so flies it is. And again, this is my first time training here. So actually I trained here one time with Chelsea, but it was a leg workout. So it was less, machines and stuff. It was a lot of just free weights. Now I'm really gonna dig into the machines. Again, just warming up. An interesting thing that a lot of people think is that for mass you need to train heavy with very low reps, and when you're on a fat loss you go high reps and then go as heavy. But I was listening to an interesting video from Dr. Mike. I really like his videos, I think he's very informative, very intelligent guy, and he said not necessarily. You just need to measure, what really works for you. There are some exercises that you can still do heavy, and some exercises that you should go light in a little bit high reps. Overall, he said that is a matter of each individual to figure it out, the fatigue to ratio, so you don't get too fatigued and start tapping into tissue and go catabolic. But I thought it was very interesting that there is no such a thing as this is it for muscle growth, this is it for fat loss. In my case, I mix it a little bit. So I go heavy for legs, then I drop the weight, go higher reps, go heavier for shoulders, drop the weight, go higher reps. So I like to mix it a lot, and that I learned a lot with Dom. And Dom has an incredible physique, even though he hasn't competed in 5 years. So I trust the guy. Not that he's my fiance or anything. Ain't no worries. All right, I'm gonna try not to burn out on the first set. I have the tendency to do that. It's like, oh, or nothing. All right, side laterals. really recommend not working out with rings and jewelry. I've done that before, and I think Roderick was the one who filmed that. I got my hands all bloody. Remember that? It was like 2 years ago. Making sure that I'm gonna put this in a safe place because, you know, it is my engagement ring. So funny, like I feel we all have a little bit, you know, bodybuilders in general, and it's funny that women, you know, like women's physique and women's bodybuilding, we have this thing of like, the grind, you know, like the sweat and blood and tears. And there is something to it, you know, but it doesn't need to be that way because sometimes it becomes a little silly, you know. But there is something very, very artistic in that feeling, you know, of really giving your all. And the representation of the sweat and the blood, you know, for something extra to be even more dramatic, really shows the work that you're putting in. And I remember watching Tom Platz, you know, squatting, and sometimes he would do that, you know, he would bleed on his nose because he was so heavy. Of course, it's not safe, and I would assume that is not good, but there is something to it that really only us understand. But anyway, no rings today, okay? No bleeding today. All right, so we're gonna do some, gonna try 10 kilos. I have no idea, what is 10 kilos in pounds?
20.
20? Okay. It's gonna start with 8.
It's like 22.
Okay. And I'm from Brazil, man. That's
The ratio is
embarrassing.
like 1.2, I believe.
You know more than I do. Look at you. Look at you, Roderick. Oof. Oof. Oh yeah. It's interesting how everything feels heavier when you are low calorie. Even though today's my high carb day, I'm still feeling not 100%, but that's okay. Don't want to emphasize on that too much. But can't help it. So crazy what carbs do to you. I was not looking like that yesterday. Just glycogen in your muscles and just pushes against the skin. Just like, I love it. I did a long time of ketogenic diet, and I don't think that people really know the reason why, and I'll be happy to share, but there was a time in my life that I really got into digging into nutrition and almost became a little bit of obsessive, you know? And my way of coping with my stress, being away from home and going to school, I went to Cal State Northridge in California, and being away from home, like I said, food became a little bit of, exercise, became a little bit my way to cope with stress. But I was overdoing and dieting too much, and I just got so freaking skinny. I remember I was 118 pounds. I'm 153 right now, on off-season 170. So that's how skinny I was, and it wasn't healthy. And I found through the ketogenic diet something that kept me healthy, enough to give me enough nutrition to be able to go to school and think, because there was a lot of fat, a lot of protein, not a lot of carbs that would sometimes give my energy, you know, a spike up and then down, up and down. And then I just kind of lived my life that way, always thinking more of performance mentally rather than just physically. And I kind of think that I shot myself on the foot because I didn't allow myself to really eat properly for bodybuilding. But then of course everything changed when I met Dom. Dom really taught me more about the importance of carbohydrates, especially for athletes. I was doing that a little bit before I met him, but when I met him, that's when we really got deep into the studies and the knowledge and sharing our space together in a home, constantly speaking about that. And I was just absorbing and learning and learning and learning, and now I can see what it does to your body, and it's fantastic. So nobody should be scared if it is used for the right reason, which is here in the gym. And even people who don't do what I do in bodybuilding, it's still very important that you understand that carbs is not the enemy, and it's not. It's just the quantity, the amount that you eat, the types of food that you choose, the processed foods over whole foods. Nobody's here trying to tell you, and I understand that there are coaches out there that say, you should be doing the flexible diet. It doesn't work for everyone. Some people don't really like that mindset. So all the foods that I ask my clients, my patients at the clinic is mostly whole foods: jasmine rice, sweet potatoes, white potatoes, oats, bananas, fruits, all the stuff that is also good for your mind, because it gives you that feeling that you are in the game. Instead of me telling you, yeah, I allow you half a donut every day and you're still gonna be in your macros. It doesn't work for everyone. Trust me, it doesn't. I'm sorry my word, but it fucks with people's head and puts them in a phase where, in a mind funk, where they're like, oh, I cheated, so I might as well just cheat it all weekend. Oh, yeah. So, of course, we don't want to lose form, but sometimes cheating is okay. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Little help. We're going to go, I'm going to see how much I can squeeze in here with good form on the 12 kilos, whatever the hell that is. Then we're going to drop to 10, then we're going to drop to 8, and then that's it for laterals. Ooh. 10, hell yeah. Start to lose a little bit of my form here. So let's drop to 8. Oh, shit. That's it. That was good. Look at the veins. One thing you cannot count on is motivation. We don't do anything here by being motivated, because let me tell you something. After you are 12 weeks doing this in and out every single day, when you get towards the 4 weeks out or 3 weeks out, your motivation to do this is out of the window. Like I said, things start to slow down a little bit, your energy, your mental focus. You really need to count on discipline. Because discipline, like Jocko says, and that's the reason why I have this tattoo right here, discipline equals freedom. And if you count on discipline, you always get shit done. People usually get defeated by their pillow. They get defeated by their alarm clock. They get defeated by a donut. Their discipline goes out of the window. Just because, just so many little tiny things that make people give up. And when you practice discipline and you really have the mindset that no is no, no, I'm not gonna eat this today. Yes, I'm gonna get this done, regardless of my feelings, regardless how I feel. If I'm tired, if I feel like it, if I have something else to do, you still get it done. That's when you truly find your freedom. Because then everything in life just becomes better. And in my case now, in bodybuilding, again, I don't feel like doing a lot of things. I'm tired, I wanna eat more, I wanna cheat on my diet, That's just the back of my mind saying, the old Amanda, you know, why not? Just one piece. Or why skip the training today because they're too tired. So I shut that off and just get it done because it's on paper. Another thing that I like to do too is I write everything down that I have to do in my day. I have to do cardio at 7 a.m. I have to train at 11 a.m. I have to get, 10 patients or 10 clients check in by 3 p.m. I have to check on my finances by 5 p.m. and make sure that I'm keeping up with my bank statements and seeing everything that is coming in, that is coming out by 6 p.m. And I follow that to a T. I don't go to bed until it's done. And that's how I live my life. Call me crazy, but I'm very, very OCD about that. I always make my list, and that's something that I learned from my mom, and I always get it done no matter how I feel. If I'm tired, if I feel like it or not, I don't go to bed until everything is done. All right, so slight incline dumbbell press. All right, so next one is chest press. On a bench, slightly incline, okay? We're just gonna really focus here on pecs. I don't really train the chest too crazy like women's bodybuilding, but I still touch chest at least twice a week. All right, nothing crazy here, just about 3 sets. I'm gonna do about 15 to 12 right now, and then I'm gonna go a little heavier. That was 15 just to kind of feel it. I really like this bench. I really like this gym. I really do. You have good stuff here. Yeah. Oh yeah, I felt that. All right, we're gonna stay with 20. Like I said, I could potentially do way heavier if I wasn't so depleted, but we're staying at 20 right now just to avoid any injury. It's called muscle control. So crazy how we really learn a lot of patience in the sport of bodybuilding. Because when you first start your preparation for a show, you see the body, at, I don't know, 20% body fat. I usually start a little lower just because my metabolism is very, very crazy. I mean, crazy in a good way. I was a swimmer for many years, so I think that my metabolism is pretty healthy because I've always been very active. But anyway, so you start your preparation at 20% body fat, and you're just looking yourself in the mirror and imagining what you're gonna build throughout that prep. And all that you have in your mind is the imagination of how the work is gonna be, right? We're gonna look at shoulders, probably work a little bit more on shoulders. We're gonna bring the quads. We're gonna bring the hamstrings. We're gonna get a little bit more chest. But this is all in our minds. We just have that imagination, that idea of what's gonna look like after 12 weeks or 16 weeks. And you really need to perform the tasks that you have at hand through the diet and exercise, hoping that that image will become reality. And it gives you a lot of ability to practice patience, a lot of ability to practice trust in your team, because bodybuilding is not a solo sport like many people say. It is a sport that requires a team, a person that is by your side, being your coach, being your posing coach, being your friends who support your journey. And like I said, you needed to develop the trust in your team. You needed to develop patience. You needed to develop a sense of commitment to perform the task no matter what. Like I mentioned before, perform the task regardless how motivated you are. Performing the task through discipline. And that's what I love about bodybuilding so much, because it makes you become a better person, a better version of yourself, not only physically, but mentally. And if athletes can really develop their mindset and apply in every other aspects of their life, they will be incredible. They'll be incredible in anything that they do. Now, the problem is that a lot of people think that because we have the discipline in the gym, we will transfer that into business, which unfortunately doesn't happen a lot in the sport of bodybuilding. But the very few, to name a few, Jay Cutler, for example, is an incredible businessman. I believe Gaspari is one as well. Phil Heath, I believe, is one too, and many others. Denalyn Bailey, which developed her own business along with Rob. So I really get inspired by people like that, regardless of them being champions or remain champions for a long time. I believe becoming a champion is much more than just winning a trophy in bodybuilding. It's winning in every aspect of your life, right? You have a solid ground at home where you develop a family. You have a strong bond with your family. You have a strong business. You have somewhat financial freedom through your passion, which is fitness. And then on top of that, you have a badass body. So the body became just the cherry on top of the cake. But I truly believe, and I look up to people who develop the base, and then on top of that, they are incredible athletes. All right, so next one is the back of your shoulders. What is it? Rear delt. I'm gonna superset with something else. Can you see the back of my shoulders? Yeah?
Yes.
I feel a little bit on my traps, but I feel like I always do that. Some people say, you're just going to the gym. Why do you need makeup? I don't fucking know. I do. Because I want to feel better. Well, I want to look at myself in the mirror and be like, whoa, look at that. Look at those muscles and look at that makeup. I remember him saying something about this exercise that a lot of people would criticize, saying that it doesn't touch really your shoulders, but at the end of the day, it's really how you connect with the exercise, and I do connect with that exercise. And I usually, when I find an exercise that I can connect with, I stay there. Again, so many athletes have different ways of seeing exercise, and there are so many now experts out there. But at the end of the day, you really need to assess your body and see what works for you. So if you're working a specific muscle, see if you're feeling that muscle through the exercise, because a trainer might tell you, hey, you have to do it this way, but you're not feeling it. You have to voice yourself, and you need to understand how your body works. Some people are taller, some people are shorter, some people have different types of hips, especially female with male. So you really need to be able to assess that. like I said, I do feel a little bit, I feel my delts too, but I do feel a little bit of my traps, but I'm okay with that. I like to hit traps a little bit, even though that's not my main focus for that specific exercise, but I was feeling in a way that I could feel both, so I was okay. I was like, okay, I'm touching a little bit of traps, fine. Control the weight, control the weight. Note to self. Gonna go a little heavier. Oh man, so crazy. Like, feels like half of my carbs intake is already gone. I just moved through pure adrenaline and autopilot focus on the end goal, which is the showtime. There is no more doubting, you know. You don't even have the energy for that anymore. You just say, yeah, at least I tell Dom, tell me how high and how often I will jump. Just the 1, 2, 3 until the day of the show. Just shut your mouth and your mind and get to work. One thing I recommend too for everyone out there, I think it's a new era now, because back in the 90s they didn't have that distraction, is social media. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who is gonna step on stage with you. It doesn't matter who is gonna judge the show, even though it does, in a sense. It's important for you to be in front of a judge that saw you perhaps the season before, so they can see the improvements that you made. But other than that, there are a lot of things that you cannot control. And looking online to see who is gonna compete against you, who is going to do what show, just adds more to the mind that is very busy thinking a lot of details, right? The training, the dieting, specific ways of doing your peak week, your bikini for the girls, your jewelry, and all the fun stuff. And then in addition, preoccupied with who is going to step on stage with you will not add anything good to your prep. So shut it off. In my case, I like to post. I know a lot of people like to see the improvements. They like to see the journey. I have a good amount of people who are not in bodybuilding who follow me, so they are always very curious to see how I live my life and how I do things. And I love doing what I'm doing now and posting some content for them and people who enjoy. But I tend to step away from looking. Again, not because I can't handle, but just because I don't want to add more variables of a very busy mind. So I keep myself focused and centered. I create my content, I take my pictures so I can always analyze, take a look at the photos from previous seasons and look at the photos from this seasons and have everything piled up next to each other to see my improvements. But when it comes to social media, I shut it off, and very rarely you're gonna see me looking at stories or looking at people's page, just because I'm very focused and I don't have the time to do that. I think that is very important to pay attention to your mind and have a mind hygiene, and part of the mind hygiene is to shut everything off and just focus on the task at hand. Front raises. 4 weeks. Ah. Oh yeah. Ah. Damn. I'm seeing things in my body that I've never seen before, which I love it. So cool. Just skin and muscles.
What body fat do you think you are?
Huh?
What body fat percentage do you think you are?
Maybe 10. I think we're gonna drop to like, I don't know, maybe, no, I think I might be 9. We might be dropping to 7. I have 4 more weeks, so that's doable. I've been gone a long time, my friend. This is just, in Portuguese there is a word, carcaça. That means this is just like the.
It is what it is. Like
No, carcaça is like, you know when it's, a snake loses its skin? And that is just like it's just the shadow.
Yeah.
This is me, like I'm gone a long time ago.
Trying to figure out what to do after bodybuilding.
Yeah. Just to think that I still have 15 minutes of cardio. Oh, it's okay. Get it done, get it done. Last one. Whew. That was it. That was it. All right, so I was planning to do some glutes, but to be honest with you, I don't think it's gonna happen. I did legs yesterday and I touched glutes a little bit, so most likely I'm gonna touch glutes tomorrow. I don't wanna overdo too much either because I know that can bite me in the ass. So I'm gonna do 15 minutes now on Stairmaster and then call it a day. So again, today was a just push day. Not too heavy, like I said, because I don't have the energy, but just enough for me to feel that I'm still squeezing in the carbs, all the carbs that I ate today, because usually I like to do a high carb day on a leg day, on a back day, but it didn't fall on the right day, but that's okay. Tomorrow I'm gonna perform back day, so I think I'm gonna have a good amount of energy coming from today too. When I say energy, just energy enough for that hour. But this is for you guys to have an understanding, because I think I do have some videos here that you've seen me pushing a good amount of weight before with Chelsea and Christina, with Akimi. And now you can see the difference. The body looks completely different, but my strength is different too. So I am paying attention on not getting injured. And even though I know that I could potentially push a little bit harder, I know that I have 3 more days coming of low carb, so I don't want to overdo, and by the second day of low carb, I'm completely exhausted. So I'm gonna preserve a little bit of energy. Gonna use my energy for back day tomorrow, and use my energy today too to come back home and pack all my meals for the week. I still have to meal prep. I usually do that on Sundays. Dom helps me a lot with it. He likes to cook. He's very creative. I always call him Chef Dom. One day, Rodrigo and I are gonna do a video of Dom cooking all the delicious meals that we do at home. So I'm gonna help him today too to pack off my meal, prep all the meals for the week. And the fun thing is that Dom does it with me too. So even though he's not on prep, he's technically doing a lot of things that are very similar. So he's packing up his meals for the days. He's squeezing the workouts. He's really supporting me in everything. I couldn't be more blessed to have somebody that understands bodybuilding so well, because can you imagine having a bodybuilder at home and your partner has no idea what the fuck is going on? It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. So I'm very blessed, and I'm very happy to be sharing everything here with you guys. Hopefully we're gonna be able to do one more. I know that Rodrigo is going to travel next weekend, but maybe we can squeeze in another video on Thursday and have you guys come over to my place and show a little bit of the food that we prepare. If not, we just do another week, and I'm gonna be closer to the show too, so I think you're gonna see a completely different body. We hope so, a better one. All right, bye.